The massive crystal dome of the Galactic Council headquarters sparkled under the light of three suns. Inside, more than 300 of the galaxy's most advanced species gathered for what many believed would be their last emergency meeting. The council chamber buzzed with worried whispers and frightened clicks from various alien communication organs. At the center of the chamber, a holographic display showed the growing disaster. A massive purple-black void that consumed everything in its path. Stars, planets, and whole solar systems vanished into its endless darkness. The display tracked its movement across the galaxy, marking each civilization it had already destroyed with red dots. Council President Smith, an 8-foot-tall being with metallic skin, raised all four of his arms for silence. "We face extinction," he said, his universal translator making his words clear to all present. The quantum anomaly has consumed 12 star systems in the past month alone. At this rate, it will reach the core worlds within 2 years. The chamber erupted in chaos. A representative from the Blue Star Empire, known for their mastery of dark matter technology, stood up. "Our greatest minds have failed to stop it. We sent our most advanced ships. None returned." Another delegate, a being made purely of energy, flickered rapidly, their species' way of showing distress. "The wave hunters tried to contain it with our gravity web technology. The anomaly ate through it like it wasn't there." In the highest tier of the chamber, where the most advanced civilizations sat, a representative of the crystal mind spoke. Their voice rang like bells in everyone's thoughts. "Even our quantum computers, which can predict the movement of every particle in a star system, cannot understand this thing. It defies all known laws of physics." President Smith activated another hologram. This one showed a small blue-green planet in an unremarkable solar system. "We have received a request from a developing world to join our efforts. They call themselves humans." Laughter echoed through the chamber. The kind of laughter that comes from desperation rather than humor. "These primitives," called out one delegate, "they haven't even colonized their own solar system." "They still use chemical rockets," shouted another. "Their understanding of quantum mechanics is basic at best." President Smith let them laugh. He understood their reaction. Earth was indeed primitive by galactic standards. They had achieved faster than light travel only 30 years ago, and even that was using technology they had reverse-engineered from a crashed scout ship. Their cities still burned fossil fuels in some places. They fought among themselves over resources and ideology. "The humans claim they have a new approach," Smith continued once the laughter died down. "They believe their limited understanding might actually help them see something we've missed." This time, the laughter was shorter, tinged with anger. The Blue Star representative spoke again. "With all due respect, President Smith, we don't have time for jokes. The combined knowledge of 300 advanced civilizations has failed to stop this threat. What could these primitives possibly offer?" From his personal console, Smith brought up the human proposal. It was crude by council standards, written in simple mathematical notation, rather than the elegant quantum equations preferred by advanced races. They proposed to study the anomaly using what they call first principles thinking, starting from basic observations rather than established theoretical frameworks. Absurd. The crystal mind representatives' thoughts rang with dismissal. They would ignore millennia of proven scientific advancement. This is exactly why primitive species are dangerous. They don't understand enough to know what's impossible. Smith looked at the proposal again. Something about its simplicity nagged at him, but he pushed the feeling aside. The council had procedures, standards. Earth barely qualified as a level 2 civilization. Involving them would be like asking a child to perform brain surgery. "The motion to include Earth in the Anomaly Research Initiative has been proposed," Smith announced formally. "All those in favor?" Not a single delegate raised their appendage. Motion denied. Smith's metallic skin rippled with what his species considered a sigh. "Let the record show that Earth's request for participation has been declined due to insufficient technological advancement. May the stars have mercy on us all." As the meeting continued, no one noticed the small human observation drone in the chamber's upper corner, recording everything. And no one could guess that this dismissal would turn out to be the Council's greatest mistake. Dr. James Walker stared at his computer screen in the basement lab of West State University. Empty coffee cups littered his desk, and his wrinkled shirt suggested he hadn't gone home in days. The small lab, with its outdated equipment and flickering fluorescent lights, looked nothing like the advanced facilities of the Galactic Council. "This can't be right," he muttered, running his hand through his messy gray hair. The numbers on his screen seemed to mock everything he knew about quantum physics. He had been studying the effects of quantum entanglement on ordinary matter when something strange appeared in his data. The door creaked open, and Mike Roberts walked in carrying 2 fresh cups of coffee. The stocky engineer had been Walker's friend since college, and now they shared this cramped basement lab. "Still obsessing over those readings?" Mike asked, placing 1 cup beside the computer. "Look at this," Walker pointed to his screen. "Remember that quantum anomaly the Council's been trying to stop? I think we've accidentally created a tiny version of it right here." Mike nearly spilled his coffee. "What? How?" "It happened when we were trying to entangle those copper atoms yesterday. But here's the weird part. It's not growing like the big one. It's actually shrinking." The small anomaly in their lab was barely the size of a dust particle, but its behavior defied everything the advanced races had reported. Walker pulled up the classified Council data that their observation drone had captured. Their tiny anomaly's energy signature matched the galaxy-eating monster perfectly, just on a much smaller scale. "We need to tell someone," Mike said, already reaching for his phone. Walker grabbed his arm. "Wait. Look at these readings first." He pulled up 2 graphs side by side. "See how our little anomaly is behaving? It's like it's eating itself." Mike leaned closer, his engineering mind quickly grasping what Walker was showing him. The energy pattern. It's inverted compared to the big one. "How did that happen?" "Because we messed up." Walker laughed, a sound of pure joy. "Our equipment is so basic compared to the Council's technology that it couldn't maintain proper quantum stability. We actually created an unstable quantum field by accident." The door opened again, and Dr. Anna Mills walked in. The theoretical physicist had been working upstairs when her instruments detected the unusual energy readings. "What are you 2 so excited about?" she asked, brushing her gray-streaked hair from her face. Walker quickly explained their accidental discovery. Anna's eyes grew wider with each word. "So you're saying," she spoke slowly, "that our primitive technology might have stumbled onto something the advanced races missed?" "Exactly." Walker stood up, pacing the small lab. "The Council's quantum technology is too perfect, too stable. They're trying to stop the anomaly by creating perfect quantum fields. But look what happens when we introduce imperfection." He pointed to a new set of readings. The tiny anomaly was now barely visible, having consumed itself almost entirely. "It's like fighting fire with fire," Mike said, "but on a quantum level." Anna sat down heavily in a spare chair. "The Council would never think of this. Their whole civilization is built on the idea of perfect quantum control. They'd consider this approach primitive, dangerous. And that's exactly why it might work," Walker finished. "We need to scale this up, test it on something bigger." Mike looked worried. "The Council already rejected Earth's help. They won't listen to us." Walker's eyes sparkled with determination. "Then we'll have to show them instead of telling them. Anna, can you help us model what we'd need for a larger test?" "It won't be pretty," she warned. "We'll have to use whatever equipment we can cobble together. The Council would probably laugh at our setup." "Let them laugh," Walker said, already starting to sketch plans on a worn notepad. "Sometimes the best solutions come from thinking like beginners instead of experts." As the 3 humans worked late into the night, their tiny anomaly finally winked out of existence, leaving behind nothing but normal space and a lot of interesting data. Above their basement lab, the night sky sparkled with stars. stars that would soon need their primitive solution to survive. The underground parking lot of West State University had been transformed into a makeshift laboratory. Old cargo containers lined the walls, filled with computer servers bought secondhand from tech companies. Thick cables snaked across the concrete floor, connecting to what looked like a giant pile of scrap metal, but was actually humanity's best hope for survival. "The council representatives are here," Mike announced, walking in from the stairwell. He wore his lucky red baseball cap backward, a habit from his college days. "They don't look happy." Walker didn't look up from the control panel he was soldering. "They're never happy with us." "Anna, how's the power distribution looking?" Dr. Mills studied 3 old laptop screens showing power graphs. "It's unstable, just like we wanted. The quantum field will collapse in exactly the wrong way, which is actually the right way." The sound of multiple footsteps echoed through the parking lot. 3 council observers entered, led by a tall being with metallic skin, President Smith himself. Behind him walked 2 crystal mine scientists, their transparent bodies glowing with barely contained disapproval. Dr. Walker, President Smith's universal translator, made his voice sound tired. "We ask you to stop these dangerous experiments." Walker finally looked up, pushing his safety goggles onto his forehead. "With all respect, sir, we can't stop. Not when we're so close to a solution." One of the crystal mines flickered rapidly, a sign of anger. "You call this primitive setup the solution? Your power systems are wildly unstable. Your quantum fields are full of errors. This is exactly why we rejected Earth's help." Mike stepped forward, crossing his arms. "Those errors are the whole point. We've run 15 small-scale tests. Each one worked perfectly." Perfectly. The second crystal mine's thoughts rang with disbelief. "Your last test created a quantum cascade that destroyed half your equipment." "Yes," Anna smiled, "and the test anomaly with it. Just like we planned." President Smith moved closer to their central device, a ring of modified particle accelerator parts surrounded by what looked like satellite dishes made from old car parts. "You're using recycled technology," he observed. "These components weren't even designed for quantum manipulation." "That's right," Walker said proudly. "We built it from scratch, using our own understanding instead of copying advanced designs. That's why it works." The first crystal mind moved to one of the laptop displays. "These readings are chaotic. You're deliberately creating quantum instability. This goes against every principle of safe quantum manipulation." "Exactly." Walker's eyes lit up with excitement. "The anomaly is too perfectly stable. All your advanced technology tries to match that stability, which only makes it stronger. We're fighting it with chaos instead. Like breaking a wave by making the water choppy," Mike added. "Sometimes messy works better than perfect." President Smith studied their setup with all 4 eyes. "The council has officially ordered this project to stop. If you continue, Earth could face sanctions." Walker walked over to the main control panel. "Then you leave us no choice but to demonstrate." He pressed a series of buttons, and the makeshift machine hummed to life. "We detected a small natural anomaly forming at the edge of the solar system. We're going to destroy it. Stop this immediately." The crystal mines moved forward, but Anna stepped between them and the controls. "Watch," she said firmly. "Just watch." The machine's hum grew louder. On the monitors, a small purple-black dot appeared, a tiny version of the massive anomaly threatening the galaxy. Walker's device fired, creating what looked like a mess of quantum energy. "You're making it worse," one of the crystal mines projected in panic. "No," Walker smiled as the readings spiked chaotically. "We're making it better. In 3, 2, 1. The monitors flashed bright white. When the light faded, both the test anomaly and the chaotic quantum field were gone, leaving behind nothing but normal, healthy space. In the sudden silence, President Smith spoke softly. "Impossible." "No," Walker replied. "Just human." The Kuiper Belt stretched out before them, a vast field of ice and rock, at the edge of Earth's solar system. Walker stood on the bridge of the retrofitted cargo ship Hope, watching through the viewscreen as his team made final preparations. The ship, originally designed to haul mining equipment to Mars, now carried humanity's makeshift quantum device. Main device is charging at 60%, Mike reported from his station. He had rebuilt the ship's controls using spare parts from 3 different spacecraft models. The quantum field is already unstable, just how we want it. Anna worked at a station made from welded-together laptop computers. The target anomaly is growing. It's now roughly the size of Earth's moon. The ship's comm system crackled. Human vessel Hope, President Smith's voice came through. This is the Council Observation Fleet. We strongly advise you to abort this mission. The anomaly you're approaching is too large for your equipment. Walker looked out at the Council ships surrounding them. Their sleek, perfect designs made the Hope look like a child's attempt at building a spaceship, but he knew looks didn't matter. "Thank you for your concern," he replied. "But we're proceeding as planned. You might want to back your ships up a bit. This could get messy." Through the viewscreen, he saw the anomaly growing. It was beautiful in a terrifying way, a perfect sphere of purple-black nothingness that consumed everything it touched. Small rocks and ice chunks from the Kuiper Belt vanished into it without a trace. "Council ships are moving to safe distance," Mike announced. "They think we're crazy." "Maybe we are," Anna said, checking her readings. Device at 85% charge. The quantum field is becoming more unstable by the second. Walker watched as their jerry-rigged sensors tracked the anomaly's growth. According to the Council's perfect machines, what they were about to attempt was impossible. Their quantum field was too chaotic, too unpredictable. It should tear their ship apart. Device at 100%. Mike called out, "Ready to fire on your command." Walker took a deep breath. "Begin transmission to all Council ships. They need to see this." Anna pressed several buttons on her makeshift console. "Broadcasting now. All Council ships are receiving our data. Hope, this is your final warning." President Smith's voice came through again. "Your readings show dangerous levels of quantum instability. You're risking a cascade failure that could destroy half the solar system." Walker smiled. "That's exactly what we're counting on. Mike, target the anomaly. Fire when ready." The Hope shuddered as their device activated. A beam of seemingly chaotic energy shot out toward the anomaly. On their screens, warning signals flashed red. "Quantum cascade beginning." Anna shouted over the noise of straining engines. "The anomaly is reacting." Through the viewscreen, they watched as their chaotic energy beam hit the perfect purple-black sphere. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, suddenly, the anomaly began to grow faster. "It's working," Mike yelled excitedly. "The anomaly is becoming unstable." Walker gripped his console as the ship shook harder. "Stay on target. Keep feeding it chaos." The Council observation ships backed away further as the anomaly swelled to twice its original size. Their sensors must have been going crazy trying to make sense of what was happening. "Quantum field reaching critical instability," Anna reported. "The anomaly's perfect structure is breaking down." The purple-black sphere began to ripple and distort. Flashes of energy sparked across its surface. The Hope's engines groaned under the strain of maintaining the chaotic beam. 3, 2, 1. Walker counted down. The anomaly suddenly collapsed in on itself with a flash of light that briefly outshone the distant sun. When the light faded, normal space remained where the threat had been. In the silence that followed, the Council ship's sensors confirmed what human eyes could already see. The anomaly was completely gone. "Hope," President Smith's voice came through, softer now. "Your unconventional approach appears to have succeeded. We would like to discuss your methodology in detail." Walker looked at his tired but proud team. "We'll be happy to explain everything, President Smith. Sometimes the best solution is the one that breaks all the rules." The main conference room aboard the Council flagship looked like something from a dream. Holographic displays floated in the air. showing complex quantum equations that seemed to dance and shift. Walker stood at the center of the room, surrounded by representatives from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. "So you see," he said, pointing to his hand-drawn diagrams projected onto one of the displays, "we're not trying to stop the anomaly. We're trying to make it worse." A murmur of confusion rippled through the assembled aliens. President Smith leaned forward, his metallic skin reflecting the hologram's light. "Make it worse. That goes against everything we know about containing quantum threats." Mike stepped forward, holding up a simple glass of water. "Let me show you something we teach first-year engineering students on Earth." He dropped a small pebble into the water, creating perfect ripples. "See these waves? They're like your perfect quantum fields. Organized, predictable." Anna took another glass and stirred it rapidly. "But what happens when we add chaos?" The water in her glass swirled messily, breaking up any waves that tried to form. "Sometimes disorder is more effective than order." One of the crystal mind scientists flickered thoughtfully. "But our advanced quantum technology is designed to create perfect stability. Are you suggesting that imperfection is better?" "Not better," Walker corrected, "just different. Look at the data from our test." He brought up the readings from the Kuiper Belt mission. "Your technology tries to contain the anomaly with perfect quantum fields, but the anomaly is already perfect, too perfect. It absorbs your orderly energy and grows stronger." Mike pointed to different parts of the display. "Our crude equipment creates quantum fields full of errors and instabilities. When these hit the anomaly, they're like throwing sand into a perfectly running machine." "The anomaly tries to maintain its perfect structure," Anna explained, "but our chaotic energy forces it to adapt. The more it tries to stay stable, the more energy it uses, until it collapses under its own weight," Walker finished. "Like a star-going supernova, but in reverse." President Smith walked slowly around the holographic display. "Your method deliberately creates the very instabilities we've spent millennia learning to prevent. It's primitive." "Exactly." Walker smiled. "That's why it works. The anomaly has never encountered anything like it before. It doesn't know how to handle imperfection." One of the Blue Star representatives spoke up. "But the energy requirements must be enormous. How can your basic technology handle such power?" Mike laughed. "It doesn't. Our equipment burns out after each use. We have to rebuild it every time. But that's okay. We're good at fixing things." "Inefficient," a crystal mind observed. "Wasteful. But effective," President Smith said quietly. "They destroyed an anomaly that our best ships couldn't even approach." Walker brought up new diagrams. "We've already started building larger devices. They're not pretty, and they probably break about 50 different council safety regulations, but they'll work. We can save the galaxy, if you let us." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, the primitive species they had dismissed, had found a solution by thinking in ways the advanced races had forgotten. "There's an old saying on Earth," Anna said into the silence. "Sometimes you have to break something to fix it." President Smith's metallic skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "It seems we have much to learn from Earth's primitive wisdom. The Council will need to revise its position on human involvement." Walker looked at the beautiful, perfect technology surrounding them in the Council ship. "We're not asking you to abandon your advanced methods. We're just suggesting that sometimes the messy solution is the right one." "Very well," President Smith announced. "You have the Council's full support. Show us how to save the galaxy, the human way." As the meeting continued, Walker couldn't help but smile. Sometimes being primitive wasn't such a bad thing after all. Earth's orbital shipyards had never seen anything like it. 20 old cargo ships hung in space, their hulls cut open and rebuilt with a maze of jury-rigged equipment. Welding sparks flew as workers in spacesuits attached the last pieces of humanity's makeshift quantum devices. The anomaly just consumed the Proxima Centauri system, Anna reported from the control center. Her screen showed the massive purple-black sphere growing larger by the hour. We have less than 48 hours before it reaches Alpha Centauri. Walker looked out the window at their strange fleet. Each ship carried a larger version of the device they tested in the Kuiper Belt. The ships themselves were a collection of retired cargo vessels, old space tugs, and even a few converted mining platforms. "How many of the devices are ready?" he asked, trying to ignore the headache from 3 days without proper sleep. Mike checked his tablet, which he taped back together after dropping it earlier. 16 complete, 4 still being installed. But Walker, he hesitated. The power systems are incredibly unstable. We're way beyond what these old ships were designed to handle. Through the window, they could see the Council's fleet arriving. Hundreds of sleek battleships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their perfect quantum drives humming with stable energy. Next to them, the human ships looked like they'd been built from spare parts, which they had been. The comm system crackled. "Earth Control, this is President Smith. Our sensors detect dangerous power fluctuations in your vessels. Are you certain they're safe to launch?" Walker picked up the microphone. "Safe? No, but they'll work. We've modified the cargo holds into giant energy containment chambers. When the quantum cascade starts, the ships will channel it directly into the anomaly." "Those containment chambers appear to be made from modified water tanks," one of the crystal mine scientists observed through the comm. "They were cheaper than building new ones," Mike replied with a grin. "We added some special shielding, though, old heat tiles from retired space shuttles." Anna's screen beeped urgently. "The anomaly's acceleration is increasing. It's now 36 hours from Alpha Centauri." Walker pressed a button, broadcasting to all 20 ships. "This is it, everyone. Remember, when the quantum cascade starts, you'll have exactly 10 minutes to clear the blast radius. Don't try to be heroes. Start your retreat the moment your device fires." The crews acknowledged. They were a mix of volunteers, cargo pilots, engineers, even a few retired space racers. None of them had ever fought an interstellar threat before, but they all knew how to handle temperamental machines. "Council fleet is moving into support positions," Mike reported. "They're ready to assist with evacuation if needed." Walker looked at their readouts one last time. The power levels were dangerously unstable. The quantum fields were full of chaos-inducing errors, and half their equipment was centuries behind the Council's technology. It was exactly what they needed. "Launch countdown starting," Anna announced. "All ships prepare for departure." One by one, the converted cargo ships fired their engines. They moved slowly, their old hulls groaning under the weight of the added equipment. The Council ships smoothly parted to let them through, like a school of sleek fish making way for a group of determined turtles. "Time to anomaly intercept." 6 hours, Mike called out. "All ships report quantum devices charging." Walker watched as their improvised fleet headed toward humanity's greatest challenge. The massive purple-black sphere waited ahead, growing larger with each passing minute. It had already consumed thousands of worlds, but it had never faced anything like this. A fleet of primitive ships carrying the most unstable quantum devices ever built. "Good luck," President Smith's voice came through one last time. "The galaxy stands with you." Walker smiled as he watched the stars ahead. "Thank you, sir. But where we're going, we don't need luck. We just need to make a really big mess." The human fleet moved forward, 20 ships carrying the hopes of a galaxy, ready to fight perfect destruction with beautiful chaos. The massive anomaly filled the view screens of 20 human ships. Up close, it looked like a hole in reality itself, a perfect sphere of darkness that consumed everything it touched. Behind the human fleet, thousands of Council ships waited at a safe distance, their sensors recording everything. "All ships in position." Mike's voice came through the comm system. He was commanding the left wing of their makeshift fleet. "Power levels are at maximum instability." "Right wing ready," Anna reported from her ship. "Quantum chaos generators at full power. They're shaking our ships apart, but they're working." Walker stood on the bridge of the lead ship, watching as the final pieces of humanity's plan came together. Their 20 vessels had formed a rough circle around the anomaly, each one pointing their jury-rigged quantum devices toward the center. Council fleet reporting massive energy spikes from our ships, the communication officer said. They're asking if we need assistance. Walker keyed the comm. Negative, Council fleet. The energy spikes are supposed to happen. Everyone stand by for Phase 1. He looked at the sensor readings. Their ships were creating the most chaotic quantum fields ever recorded. The Council's perfect sensors probably couldn't even make sense of the readings. That was good. If they couldn't understand it, neither could the anomaly. All ships, Walker broadcast, begin quantum cascade sequence on my mark. Remember, you'll have 10 minutes to clear the blast radius once your device fires. Don't wait too long. The anomaly pulsed, as if sensing their presence. It had already destroyed countless civilizations, but it had never faced anything like this. A fleet of primitive ships about to break every law of quantum physics at once. 3, 2, 1. Mark. 20 beams of chaotic energy shot toward the anomaly. The perfect purple-black sphere began to ripple and distort as humanity's quantum chaos slammed into it. Warning alarms blared throughout the fleet as their makeshift equipment strained under the power. Energy readings off the scale. Anna shouted over the comm. The anomaly is trying to adapt. Walker watched as the massive sphere began to grow, just as they'd planned. Keep firing. Feed it more chaos. The Council ship's sensors reported what looked like a disaster in the making. The anomaly swelled to twice its size, then 3 times, consuming the chaotic energy from the human ships. But Walker could see what the advanced races couldn't. Tiny imperfections appearing in its perfect surface. Hull integrity failing on ships 7 and 12, Mike reported. They're starting their retreat. One by one, the human ships fired their engines, breaking away from the expanding anomaly as their devices reached critical levels. Their timing had to be perfect. Too soon, and the plan would fail. Too late, and they'd be consumed. Walker waited until the last possible moment before ordering his own ship to retreat. Through the view screen, he watched as their plan reached its climax. The anomaly had grown to enormous size, but its surface was now riddled with chaos-induced imperfections. Final stage beginning. Anna's voice crackled through static. The quantum cascade is reaching critical mass. The anomaly's surface began to crack like breaking glass. Pure energy leaked from the gaps, creating a light show that outshone nearby stars. The perfect sphere began to collapse in on itself, unable to maintain its structure against the chaos humanity had introduced. All ships, clear the blast radius. Walker ordered. It's going to. The anomaly imploded with a flash that briefly outshone the galaxy's core. When the light faded, normal space remained where the threat had been. Humanity's chaotic solution had worked perfectly. In the silence that followed, President Smith's voice came through the comm. Earth Fleet, you've done it. The anomaly is completely gone. The galaxy is saved. Cheers erupted across all channels. Human and alien voices mixed together in celebration. Walker smiled as he looked at the empty space where the anomaly had been. They had proven that sometimes the best solution wasn't the most advanced or the most elegant. Sometimes you just needed to think differently. Council flagship requesting permission to dock, the comm officer reported. President Smith wishes to formally invite Earth to join the Galactic Council. As a senior member, Walker looked at his battered fleet of jury-rigged ships, held together with spare parts and human ingenuity. Tell them we accept. And remind them to pack their toolkits. They might need to learn how to fix things the human way. After all, being primitive had just saved the galaxy.